So it really has to be a part of who you are, and then a part of the corporation and the energy of the culture, and then it will become the output that comes when your customer engages with your customer representatives, etc., etc. Hey, Cornell Jermaine here. Welcome back to another episode. Listen, today it's another opportunity to share, but this is something a little different and something new that we're introducing here on the channel. It's called Ask Cornell, which is where we cover questions that are submitted to us from our viewers or people that we are in relationship with. Take the opportunity to share some thoughts and wisdom on how to navigate anything within the space of leadership, entrepreneurship, and communication. I'm happy to accept your questions and see if I may have something that is useful to offer you. So leave the questions down in the comments, or you can find me on another platform and DM me or email me, etc. So submit your questions however you wish. But today's question is sent, and I will keep the sender anonymous per their request. But the question is this. So it's a small business that is newly started and they're trying to develop their team. So they are asking this particular question: how can we better train our employees to understand and meet the evolving needs and expectations of our customers? This is a big question not only for a small business, but for any business, especially a business that has to deal with customers on a day-to-day basis. And I thought about this question and I said, there's this. I was thinking, okay, well, you can develop them with interpersonal skills. That's how they relate to others. Intrapersonal skills, how they communicate with themselves. Conflict resolution, that's definitely a thing. But I thought about it and I sat down and I said, you know what? This answer is encompassed in one phrase, and that is emotional intelligence. I think if any business develops and trains their team in emotional intelligence, you will ultimately end up with a better group of people at the end of the day. And what does emotional intelligence entail? Well, it entails self-awareness. Self-awareness is important because if you're going to show up to serve a customer, you have to know who you are. There are so many people who are not self-aware, so they get bruised and beat up easily when they encounter some of these customers because they don't know who they are, so they're not self-aware. It encompasses not only self-awareness, but it encompasses empathy. How do you relate to people? How do you understand people? You get what I'm saying? And their emotions, how do you comfort them, right? It's related to motivation, It's also related to self-regulation. So how do you communicate? You know what I mean? Some people, especially in the customer service space, they show up so rigid and harsh and unconcerned, you know what I mean? Any little thing just turns them, pops them off. That's a person that's not self-regulated, right? All has to do with emotional intelligence. And finally, you have social skills, which is just the ability to maintain relationships and effectively communicate. How many times have you got on the phone with somebody or stood in front of somebody at a particular retailer or what have you, and they were talking as if they had a wad of chewing gum. You didn't understand what they were saying. Like, what are you talking about? If they opened their mouth at all, that's a whole nother subject. So I think you can better train your employees to understand and meet the needs of your customers if you help develop them emotionally. And I think this is something that is not really recognized within the space of business, because most people think you give them a task and do this, do that, do this, and this is what is done. But in this day and in this generation of people that we are now employing in the workforce, it is very necessary because many of them have not had the opportunity to develop in this space. And because we're in this digital age, and a lot of the individuals that we're employing in this space were born in this digital age, they did not develop those social skills. Their self-awareness is all based on the reflection of what they see on a screen. And that's a false self-awareness because they're measuring themselves against someone else. So they have no awareness of who they are. They're not self-regulated because they don't even know that, okay, this is not how you handle yourself in an establishment. We see it, you know what I mean? It's across the board. You go into some of these establishments and people are responding and behaving as if they're in a reality television show. Why? Because that's been their awareness. That's all they've seen. They've grown up on reality TV, social media, influencers, and all this kind of stuff. And they see all of this behavior and they don't realize that there is a defining line between what you see on those screens, be it your television or your cell phone, and what really happens or needs to happen in a professional work environment. So those lines have been blurred. This is gonna take effort for your part. You're gonna have to really care about your team. And granted, I think if you're gonna put a team of or a group of people through this type of development, emotional intelligence, and helping them to become who they need to be in order to better serve your customers, I think they need to be vetted properly, because this is not energy and time that you want to waste on people who are just fly by night, just want a quick check, just here for whatever, you know what I mean, the discount, whatever the case may be. You're gonna have to vet these people to make sure that they are worthy of the development and energy that you put into your staff. And guess what? If you make that a mainstay for your company, where you put this kind of energy and development into them, it will become the part of your brand. And guess what? People will gravitate to it for that reason. And you will ultimately filter out all the people who are not really gonna take it seriously, who are not really gonna value it. You'll filter out those people because they will know they can't come to this particular establishment unless they're willing to grow, expand, etc., etc. So I think, to answer your question, how do you better train the employees to understand and meet the evolving needs and expectations of your customer? Develop them under this framework of emotional intelligence. And once you develop them there in those 5 sectors: self-awareness, empathy, motivation, self-regulation, social skills. Once you develop them there, you can give them the bullet points of whatever it is that you need them to get done, and they will do it effectively. But guess what? You can't just develop them there, you have to be there as well. So it's important for you, the business owner, and your team of leaders, if you have direct managers or supervisors under you, to also exhibit and take on these emotional, intelligent ways of engaging. Because if you're not there and you're just sending them through a training class just to get an output, it's not gonna work. So it really has to be a part of who you are, and then a part of the corporation and the energy of the culture, and then it will become the output that comes when your customer engages with your customer representatives, etc., etc. So I hope this has been helpful. Listen, again, if you have a question for Ask Cornell, listen, it's a new opportunity that we're giving you. We're gonna slide in there every now and again as we get the questions and as people inquire and want to know more. But anything related to leadership, entrepreneurship, and communication, I'm happy to share if I have an answer that I believe can really help you. So I hope this was helpful, not only to the individual that asked it, but also to you, our viewing audience. And listen, I will be back here, same place, same time next week. And if you have not seen our latest videos, be sure to check them out somewhere here on the right side of the stage in our end notes or whatever it is that comes after me. But I'll see you next time, same place, same time. Until then, take care.